Hey everyone, hello everyone. Very good morning and good evening to all who all are joining us globally. I am Parth Varu, Events and Program Manager for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, and yes, welcome you all to yet another episode of Copilot Chronicles. Today's events hosted by Kamal Shri and our guest speaker Raja Jain. But before we start our today's event, let's go through our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, participate together. So please be respectful of other people's views, understanding the differences, be kind and considerate in a way we all engage. Yes, we do encourage you all to participate. Please drop all your questions in the comment section and we'll pick it up from there. Also, now I would like to bring in Kamal Shri, our host for Copilot Chronicles and a developer advocate from Microsoft 365. Hey, hi Kamal, how are you?
I'm great, Path. How are you?
I am great. I see people joining from around the globe. Hey, folks, can you just drop in the comment section from which city you all are joining in?
Definitely, that's an awesome idea because I
Yep.
see things are reaching globally and just not confined to one location. So
Yep.
people are interested to know more about Copilot. So the more locations, the happier we are. Yes, please, as Path mentioned, please drop the location and also let us know if you have any upcoming sessions that you want to focus on a particular topic. We'd be glad to pick it up related to Copilot. And yeah, without further ado, let me introduce today's speaker, Raja Jain, who is a product manager in Microsoft who works exclusively on M365 app validation and more of publication part on the team store and app source. I mean, his team is completely responsible for developing friendly store policies, raising policy awareness. Because I see until now we've been bringing awareness as to what agent is, the in and out of it, the user experience awareness. But if we go as a developer one level deep, building it is one part of it. But going another one layer beneath it, which is the security requirements, important guidelines to be followed when you want to publish your agent, because it's just not you're building, knowing things, and you sit quiet, right? So you need to know what are the steps required for best practices to publish it. And today we have Raja Jain from the product team talking about it, where what are the best practices for building agent, and also finding out what are the ways to publish agents on Microsoft Store and fine tune the agent for best output, maintaining the credibility and security of the agent at the end of the day. So, welcome Raja to the show, Copilot Chronicles, and the stage is all yours. Looking forward for your session.
Thank you, Kamal. Thank you, Parth. Thank you for the
Yes.
great introduction. Just want to say hello to everyone. Good morning, good evening from wherever you are joining. Lovely to have you all here. Yeah, Parth, you were saying something?
Yes. I was asking, like, share your screen.
Okay, sure. So let's start with thank you, Kamal, for introducing me. I am joining from Bangalore, India, and I must say, what a time it is to enjoy uh, the tech industry, the agents, the transformational technology we are seeing, and the rapid pace of change. This is something which is quite energetic. I am really energetic by the developments that are going in the AI space. And with that, I'll cover the session on how to build your agent in the best possible way, as well as recommending you some guidelines that will be useful for you while you are publishing your agent on the Microsoft Store. With that, I'll share my screen. I hope it is visible. Kamal, can you give a confirmation?
Yeah.
Not yet, Raj. Not
You
yet.
need to share your deck on the screen and then you'll pop it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. No, we
Is it
can.
visible now?
Yep.
Oh, great, great, great. So, Kamal has already introduced to me. I just want to say about my team. So my team is responsible for validating any apps or agents that are getting published within the Microsoft Store. We are, apart from validation, we are also responsible for framing developer friendly policies, as well as creating policy awareness to everyone, so that the enterprise level store that we have apps and agents of very high quality. So I know everyone have been learning about agents. We have these weekly sessions. There are a lot of resources that cover about what these agents are, what Copilot is. But to just have a quick refresh to everyone so that everyone is on the same page, let me just quickly cover what is Microsoft Copilot and what are agents. So if you see, you would have heard what is Microsoft Copilot. Copilot is the UI for AI. It's your personal assistant for your personal productivity. You can use Copilot within your day-to-day life to optimize the workflows that you have and make yourself productive. One level above Copilot will be the agents. Agents come into picture because they leverage Copilot technology to actually help you solve real life business problem, do process automation. So that is where agents will come into picture. So agents actually augment Copilot by adding certain skills and knowledge which the native Copilot capability may not have, and then you can build these agents for solving different scenarios. So basically, agents bring custom knowledges, any sort of skills, and process automation into Microsoft 365 Copilot, and you can tailor it to the needs of various users. uh, Kindly remember, like, agents are meant to be subject matter expert. They are meant to solve one or two specific tasks in a great way, which is very contrarian, which is in contrast to apps that have we have been building and publishing on the store, because apps are meant to solve for much broader use cases, whereas agents are supposed to be subject matter expert. So here are some example of the agent that you can see on my screen, like high IT help desk agent, project tracking agent, device refresh agent. So these are where you see, like, there can be a process efficiency, any area you see, and you can quickly spin up a agent to automate that particular processes. And we have already been seeing how these agents are being used across the industry to automate various processes that are leading to cost savings and time efficiency. If you see, like, we have two different kind of agent. One declarative agent, second one are custom engine agent. To the user, all are same. They won't be seeing anything different. For developers, these are two different technologies. Declarative agents are nothing but they are a collection of custom knowledge and skills which are hosted on top of Copilot orchestrator, and the foundational models are powering the conversational experience. In contrast, custom engine agents are something where everything you can customize, be it orchestrator, be the foundational model that is powering the conversational experience, or bringing in your own business logic. So custom engine in a way gives you, as the name says, complete custom flexibility to build your agent, whereas declarative agent is have a Copilot orchestrator and foundational model that is working, and you are just adding some knowledge and skills on top of it. So let's quickly talk about how you can build these agents. So you can build agents through four different way. The pro code method is to build it using Teams toolkit. The low code method is to build it through Copilot Studio. Uh, the agent builder, which will be available in the Teams, Microsoft Teams, and then you can also build agent quickly through SharePoint itself, the SharePoint agent. So for Copilot Agent Builder in SharePoint, you can only create DS, whereas through Teams Toolkit and Copilot Studio, you can create both declarative agent and custom engine agents. Before we move forward, I just want to clarify, like the best practices for the agents are same for DAs and CAs. They will be 95% same. The reason being, for end users there is no distinction. As a developer, the way you build your agents, is it out of the box, directly built on top of orchestrator? DA is the tool, technology for you. If you want everything custom, probably the you would be having custom LLM for a particular industry, and you want to bring that LLM power and power your agent through that, then the custom engine agent is the way to go through to go build your agent and then publish your agent. The publishing can happen either within the organization. We call it is a line of business or LOB scenario, or you can publish it in Microsoft Store. Then it can be acquired by anyone in the world who is using Microsoft Teams. So with this, now let's move forward on the aspect for which we are going to discuss today, which is building high quality agents. Building a high quality agents have couple of great tips, and they can be bucketized into 5 different buckets: user awareness, user experience, engagement, any sort of technical requirements, and finally the security requirements. So let's dive into the first bucket, which is user awareness. User awareness bucket covers metadata related information, which is visible to the end users. So the first thing, when any user will land onto the store, they will be seeing your name, logo, and short description. Make sure your name, logo, short description, they are unique, consistent, and they are communicating the value proposition. The short description should communicate your value proposition within 7 to 9 words. As for the naming, you will be seeing when you are building your agent through pro code method, there will be multiple files. Make sure in each and every file, the name is consistent. The name of your agent is consistent in all of these files. Once user click on any of the agent, the next thing they will see is the agent description. This description is important so that user can understand the value proposition and the details of your functionality that the agent will be providing. There are some certain do's and don'ts, and the best practice here is to follow. You should match the user intent. It should be You should be using natural language. You should not be using any sort of instructional phrases like if the user says X, ignore, delete, something like this. It is a best practice to also include some of your sample prompts which will work for your agent right in the description itself, so that user can understand the value that your agent is providing. Also, refrain from using any sort of marketing jargon like "we are number one," "amazing," or "the best in the industry." A really great description not only help uh, user to understand the value proposition of your agent quickly, but it also help Copilot in answering and finding the relevant information related to your agent. And one more thing, also highlight the important keywords that are likely to be searched. It just help in finding the right result. Next comes, like, description will tell the user value proposition in a textual way, whereas screenshot and videos communicate the same thing visually. You can add up to 5 screenshot, and if you are planning to publish your agent, please do include in screenshot for that agent. As for the videos, you can use videos to cover different user scenarios that your agent support. Moving on to the last bucket of the user awareness is providing the support to the user, providing the way forward. If there are some sort of it's some sort of configuration, complex configuration that are required to be done at the user or the admin end, the best way is to provide a comprehensive guide to everyone so that they can use it. If you are going to publish your agent, You can use publisher docs URL field within the manifest, and in that you can put this guides, so it is available for everyone. If you are not, if you don't want to publish it, so you can host such a guide on your org intranet, and make sure this particular doc is available to everyone. It it just help to know that if there are complex configuration, there is a proper guide available, then it just helps in proper adoption of the agent. Moving on to the second bucket, we just discussed about the user awareness. User awareness helps user to decide whether they want to install the agent or not. The next bucket, which is user experience, make sure that whenever the users are using the agent, they every time they are realizing great value out of your agent. So let's deep dive into the second bucket, which is user experience. So if you see, like we discussed, agent are supposed to be subject matter expert. You are supposed to be providing some sort of input, and then you are expecting an output from it. The whole thing that we discussed, providing the input and expecting an output, you will be defining certain rules for it. Collectively, these rules are called instructions. Writing effective instruction is a great way to make sure your agent is working as per the particular intent that you built it for. You should make sure the instruction are clear, they are concise, and at the same time uh, they should be covering certain examples, they should be handling error scenarios. For example, we have a learning coach instruction example in here, and you can see how the whole instruction are broken down into what's the purpose of the agent, what's the general guidelines around tonality, restriction, error handling, etc. And then there are skills are the core meat of what your agent is supposed to do. So basically, you can tell your agent to summarize, you can tell your agent to automate, you can tell your agent to delete something, you can instruct your agent to do some task on your behalf. These tasks are called skills. Some will be a summarization task, which will not require any sort of API call. Another will be the task related to changes to be made within the database, where you will have to integrate uh, third party skills within your agent. But writing effective instruction may not you may not be able to achieve it in the first go. So it is essential that you are taking an iterative approach of writing the instruction, checking the results, and then again refining the instruction based on your learnings. Some of the best practices to follow while writing instruction are that you should be specific. You should be breaking down a bigger task into a smaller steps. For example, if the task is about, let's take a very simple task, summarize the latest news. So one way to give the instruction could be, hey, just go on the web and summarize the latest news. But if you look at it, you can do a better job at writing effective instruction. You can actually call out, hey, go to the hindu.com, or you can call out, go to cnbc.com. Check what are the important news that have been highlighted for X by Z scenario. Based on this, give me top 5 news for this XYZ scenario. Now you are making sure by breaking down your instruction into smaller steps and carefully writing and specifically defining what each step is supposed to do, you are making sure that your agent is providing a great value to the user. You should be using clear syntax, which allows for the easier parsing of instruction. I'll suggest to use Markdown, because Markdown will help your agent to actually understand what are some of the important parts that are present in your agent that it should be specifically be following. You should know, like sometimes when the instructions are large, agent tend to miss on these instruction. At that time, if you have used markdown and if you have clearly highlighted this is something you should be doing it religiously, the agent will be following that instruction for sure. Then use examples. Use do instead of don't. So use don't use something like don't think like that, don't do this, don't do that. Instead use do's. Do this, do that, do think like this. This just helps making sure your agent is not hallucinating. And finally, add knowledge to your agent so that you can expand the grounding source, as well as you should be defining when and where, when and how the your agent should be triggering those knowledge sources, so you can be specific within your instruction. So these are some of the best practices to write the instruction. I quickly want to hover on our writing effective instruction guide, which is available on the internet. You can find whatever we have discussed in much more detailed way in here. So I'll suggest you to go through this guide. This guide will help you writing great instruction for your agent. Moving on to the second part, instruction will help you give basic persona to your agent, but it is by adding knowledge sources, capabilities, and actions that you are making sure you are providing value to the end user. You can add up to 20 knowledge sources across ODSP, graph connector, website you can add, and there will be more and more knowledge sources that will be coming in the future. Like you can ground your agent in a personal graph data, which is like Teams messages. You can ground your agent in email. So these sort of capabilities will be coming in the future for the agent, and you can use them to power and really solve for scenarios which will be providing value to the end users. Apart from knowledge sources, there are certain capabilities that your agent can utilize. One is the code interpreter capability that you are using at seeing at the top. I'll quickly point a laser to it. So this is a code interpreter capability that you can add to your agent. And basically this will help your agent to read, understand, and perform Python code execution. As you can see, the prompt was uh, graph for first 20 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence. And using the code interpreter capability, Python is running at the backend. The Copilot was able to generate the graph. You can enable the same capability within your agent so that your agent is able to perform high level advanced computing tasks. Similarly, you can enable your agent to generate images, which will be using the designer capability, which is again a native capability of Copilot, but you can use it within your agent. And by enabling this particular capability, your agent will be able to generate images. Finally, actions helps to perform any sort of database operation. You can perform create, read, update, delete actions directly from the agent. You will not have to go to any external system and perform those actions. So, but make sure whenever if you have included any sort of action, you are always asking for the user permission, as you can see here in this example, where the agent is trying to read information related to budget tracker, and a performation dialog and the permission dialog box is coming up, asking for should it allow once, or should it just cancel it. Similarly, for create, update, delete action, you should be making sure that you are asking for permission, specifically if you want to publish your agent on the store. This is one great way to ensure that the agent that have you have built are still in human control. They are respecting human privacy, and they are actually performing some task based on the user input and not automatically. I'll move ahead and quickly cover one core concept about the grounding sources we just discussed. So grounding can happen for these agents in two different forms. We call it scoped form and unscoped form of grounding. The image you are seeing on the left is an example of unscoped form of grounding. It essentially means that you have kept the capability node empty for this particular capability, which is graph connector. If you are not defining anything, any object within this particular node of within, and by the way, this screenshot is from the manifest of the declarative agent. If you go and search, let me quickly show it before I discuss this particular form of grounding. So here, if you search just on Edge or on Google, what's the declarative agent manifest, you will be able to go to this link. The manifest is essentially like the skeleton of the declarative agent. It will contain all of the important information, including your name, the instruction, the capabilities for the declarative agent. It's the JSON schema, and we have following properties defined in it. Let me scroll down completely to the bottom just to show you how the manifest look like. So here at the top, you are seeing some metadata related information, which is name, then the description of the agent, and instruction that you would have provided. We just discussed. These are some of the conversation starters. We'll be coming to it. Then we were discussing about actions. So you can define actions within the manifest file. And these actions within this particular file, you can define multiple functions that your declarative agent can leverage. Now, these are the capabilities you can add: web search, ODSP, which is OneDrive and SharePoint, graph connector, graphic art, code interpreter capability, and more capabilities will be introduced with time for the declarative agent. So this is how the whole manifest schema looks like. I put the screenshot from here only. So this is the screenshot of the manifest focusing on the graph connector capability. So just to connect it back, we were discussing unscoped versus scoped form of grounding. Basically, if you leave the capability node empty, you don't define anything within the graph connector node. This is what we called as unscoped form of grounding. If you don't leave the node empty, rather define it with certain parameters, like in this case graph connector have been defined using connections, which are connection id. We call it scoped form of grounding. A scoped form of grounding essentially means you, for that particular capability, you further want to reduce the grounding to happen on only specific parameters, and these parameters will differ basis capabilities. For graph connector, it's the connection id. For web scoping, it will be the site url that you want your agent to be grounded on. If you don't mention anything and leave the node empty, then your agent will be grounded in all of the tenant data related to that capability. So in this case, the agent will be grounded with all of the graph connectors which are configured and enabled for your tenant. Whereas in this case, the agent will only be grounded in the food store graph connector that has been configured and enabled in your tenant. The reason why we are understanding and discussing about the scoped and unscoped form of grounding is very important from the publishing point of view. Right now, graph connector and web search agent, the parameters that are defined within it are tenant specific. As you have seen, these connection id will change basis the various tenants who are using this particular agent. Similarly, website url will follow both scoped and unscoped form of grounding, but graph connector capability cannot be used across multiple tenant, and the reason for it is because connection id will get changed if you are using in the scoped form. However, if you are using the capability in the unscoped form, that means you are leaving the node empty, then your agent will be grounded in all of the graph connectors that are configured and enabled in a tenant. If you want to publish your agent and using graph connector capability, you cannot basically scope it with the specific connection IDs. You will have to leave it empty and use the unscoped form of grounding. Future capabilities that will be coming in, like email messages, meetings, they will also be having the similar sort of concept, where scoped form of grounding will only work in a single tenant scenario, or like we were discussing in the beginning, LOB scenario, where an organization is building the agent for their own needs. But if you are a ISV developer who wants to publish their agent for everyone, then you will have to mandatorily leave the node empty. Now, coming to another important part of user experience, which is compound utterance. So, you are building your agent, and the users expect that your agent to support not just simple use cases, but also complex use cases as well. So, the screenshot that you are seeing in front of me is the Northwind inventory agent. And as you can see from the prompt, this is one of the complex use cases which is supporting multiple parameters. Multiple parameters essentially means your agent is able to retrieve information across multiple dimension. We call it deep retrieval of information. So it should not just be like, okay, tell me, do I have the tea stock in my inventory? Rather, your agent should be supporting compound utterances, which means multiple parameters should be included and supported by your agent. In the case of Northwind inventory, find items which are low in stock. So this is first parameter, which is low in stock with average discount less than 15%. This is the second parameter, supplied by London. This is the third parameter in Northwind inventory. If you are publishing your agent, we expect that your agent should support at least three parameters, or the compound prompt generated with having three parameters. This is essential for deep retrieval of information and making sure users are getting real value out of your agent. Again, coming to an important entity or the important part of the whole experience, which are citations. Citation help people to refer to the link which the agent has provided to the user in the response, so that they can manually go and verify the information. This is really important to establish trust with the user. Without proper citation, you cannot establish user trust, because they won't be able to verify the information that the agent have brought up. So citations are real important for your agent. If you are building a declarative agent, the citations will come by default. But if you are building a custom engine agent, then have to make sure to use AI library to include citations within your custom engine agent as well. This is just an example of the inline citation that the response from the DA provides. Another important part is the AI disclaimer label. In the world which will highly be uh, which will in a world where AI will become a very generalized technology, where we are already seeing most a lot of content on the internet, a lot of code base, up to 25% of the code base of GitHub is AI generated. It is really essential to maintain transparency with the user, where the content has been generated by AI versus where the content has been generated by a human or some other sources. By default, this label will come in all of the declarative agent response. For custom engine agent, you have to make sure you should be including AI disclaimer label element within your custom engine agent code. Again, you can find this particular code from the AI library. You can use Teams toolkit to build the agent, and use the AI library to get the element for AI disclaimer label. Finally, the last part of user experience will be to will be to give people a way where they can register the feedback on the responses they are receiving. Feedback buttons are a great way to make sure whether the agent that you have built is actually providing value to the end user or not. It will help you to also iterate fast on your agent, baking in the real feedback from the real humans, so that you can make sure you are actually solving for the actual use cases that people want to solve. And if there is any issue in the response, you can quickly fix it. So these buttons will be available in the declarative agent by default. For custom engine agent, again, you will have to use AI library. One thing that I want to cover, which is related to the actions that we discussed on this slide, I covered the part of where the agent should be explicitly asking for the permission before it is making any of the correct calls. So again, I want to emphasize on this part. If you are going to publish your agent, this is really important that you are making sure nothing gets changed without user permission. Uh, One just technical nuance that I want to cover. For the read operation, you can still allow uh, a permission screen where people can click on always allow option. So when this will happen, so for any future read calls, they would not have to give any further permission. But for any CUD calls, you cannot use always allow within your permission screen. You will always have to give the permission box in this particular format, where only two buttons will be available, which are confirm and cancel. Always allow button should not be there for any CUD based API calls that your agent will be making. We have discussed first two buckets, which are user awareness and user experience. Awareness will help in the adoption, experience will help that people keep coming back. Then the third bucket is user engagement. If people are landing on your agent, what are they going to do? How they will be able to understand the value that your agent is providing. So this is what we'll be discussing in the user engagement bucket. For users who have just installed and came to the agent within the Copilot, they can see the conversation starter, or what we call it as zero query prompts. These zero query prompts are a real great way to ease ease the tension with the user to actually go and use your agent for the particular case that you have built your agent for. So you can define up to 6 conversation starter within the manifest. We briefly looked at the manifest, and this is how you can define these conversation starters. So the text and the title you can provide. As and when user will be landing on a new chat, they will be seeing these conversation starters. For example, in the Rally Cloud case, user are seeing conversation starter related to timeline, budget, team roles, which is what this particular agent is built for. Make sure your conversation starter are simple, they are not too complex, they are easy to understand, and the most important thing is they should be working perfectly fine. It is a very poor experience for the user if they are landing onto your agent and using any of the conversation starter and they are getting any error or not a good response. So make sure functionally conversation starters are working well, they are providing real value to the users, they are simple and not too complex. For declarative agent, conversation starter field is there. For custom engine agent, you can define this within the bot command. Once user start any sort of conversation, the conversation starter that you are seeing in red, they will go, but they'll still be accessible to through this pill that you are seeing here, which is view prompts. So your conversation starters are always there to help your users and guide them, helping them navigate and realizing the value from your agent really quickly. So these conversation starters are helpful whenever a new chat is getting started. Then we have another thing which is called suggested prompts. These suggested prompts comes when you are actually in conversation with the agent. They'll come at the bottom of any response. In the case of declarative agent, this is provided by the platform. So platform will be providing the next prompt that the user can use based on the history of interaction and the last response. So platform can provide, and for the custom engine agent, you will have to define this within the code. This was about the engagement part. Zero query prompt and the suggested prompt. Both are great ways to help user quickly get started in using your agent. Conversation starter are great for new users. Suggested prompts are great for existing users who are in flow of communication. So instead of typing, the agent itself is suggesting the next step to them. So they don't have to type all the way through and then get a response. So we have discussed these best practices about awareness, experience, and engagement. Now let's discuss about the best practices for technical requirements. So there are in total six technical requirements that you should be following. The manifest schema version that you should be using should be above 1.13. You should not be using manifest schema version anything below this. Uh, you can use 1.13, but better to use the latest manifest version schema so that your agent can support the latest and new features that have been launched. And you should be following the content security policy CSP headers, making sure required frame ancestors are included within your CSP headers. Also, your agent should be compatible across multiple surfaces. We have so many surfaces where your agent will light up. Microsoft Teams, mobile, desktop, web, copilot.microsoft.com. Then we have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, uh, Outlook. More and more surfaces will come, and your agent will be lighting up everywhere. So you should be making sure in your internal testing that agents are fully responsive, fully functional on all of these surfaces. With the number of surfaces, you also don't want that user to have a friction of authenticating at every service. This is where you can update your Microsoft Entra app registration for SSO. That will streamline the experience of the user. Another important aspect is the response time. Whenever users are interacting with the agent, they are expecting a quick response from the agent, and that is where you should be making sure that your response time must not exceed 9 seconds for 99%, 5 seconds for 75% cases, and 2 seconds for 50%. This is what the benchmark is for the store published agent. If you want to publish your agent in the store, this is the benchmark that you'll have to follow. As for the reliability, which is again a very important part, that your agent should have 99.9% availability. That means for 1,000 calls, agent should be responding back with a meaningful response in 999 scenario. Having great reliability, less response time helps build credibility with the end user. This makes sure that the end user is coming back again and again. They are getting a great experience out from the agent almost every time in a quick way. So that's why these last 2 points are very important for the adoption of your agent. Now moving on to the security and trust. Again, this is really important. uh, agents, AI agents are supposed to be uh, in users mind. They are supposed to be autonomous and working on their own will, but this is not how the we want to set up the perception for the agent. So that is why security and trust comes in, because your apps that you are building, agents that you are building, will be used by the enterprises, and enterprises works on trust, enterprises works on security. That's why you have to make sure your agent is secure and trusted. So you should not be using any top level domains such as .com, .in, .org as the valid domains. In fact, you should not be using .onmicrosoft.com as a valid domain. This again is a screenshot from the manifest file. Here is where you can define valid domains. You should be making sure only the domains that you have the ownership on. You should be mentioning only those domains in here. Should not be mentioning any of the top level domains like .com or .in, or any domain which are Microsoft owned. There is a API requirement as well. You must make sure that you are using HTTPS with TLS 1.2 or higher. You must also make sure there is no URL redirection, and the API that you have provided, it should be the one who is giving a response, and there should not be any sort of redirection. And another thing is actual API call must be served from the same domain or subdomain as the root domain verified for the developer. So the root domain that have been verified here, so actual API call should be made from that domain or the subdomain. We have some great compliances program in place. The level one program is the publisher attestation, where you attest by yourself that you are following the general data handling, security, and compliance information. This is how, if any app have attested to it, this will directly light up within the store itself, and it is a great indicator for the admins that attestation have been done for it, and they should be these apps or agents are fine to be used within the enterprises. Level 2 certification is recommended for the apps that have high level of governance. This is little tedious. In here, independent quality analyst will be checking your data handling practices. Once they have checked through it, they will be generating a certificate for it. Again, this certificate will light up in the store, and this is another great way to make sure that you are communicating to the admins of an your potential customer organization, that this is a perfectly safe app or agent to use. These are some of the useful links that I want to leave you with. We have a very thriving Stack Overflow developer community. Community helps in answering question related to various guidelines. It helps in it helps you in finding solution to problems where you are stuck on certain part of code, or in certain sort of policy, or in certain sort of processes. Our team is also very active on the Stack Overflow community. So if you are tagging us in here, you will be getting a response from us on that particular issue. Another great document that all of you should be referring to if you are thinking of publishing your agent on the store is the agent validation guidelines that we have on again available on the web. I'll quickly go to the guidelines. Whatever we discuss are also part of the guidelines. There are some more guidelines to it. Like this particular document covers in great detail what the important guidelines to follow if you are planning to publish your agent on the store. These have very rich examples of do's and don'ts, pass and fail scenario, and this will make sure that if you are reading it and your agent is coming for validation, you are not spending a lot of time in validation because your app or agent is already of high quality. So do refer to this documentation if you are planning to publish your agent on the store. With that, thank you all for patiently listening to this. If there are any questions, Kamal, happy to answer them.
Yeah, Raja. Thank you so much, Raja. That was one of the nice and amazing session that I've heard. I got to know a lot about the validation part. So that is why I really wanted the audience also to know about it. So we have received a great feedback. Maybe you can have a look into it after the session or during it. And thanks, Tejas, for joining for us from all the way from Brisbane and few folks from Mumbai, Bangalore, Coimbatore, and yes, again from Guatemala as well. So I always have, whenever I used to work in an app domain, so publishing apps or deploying websites on production, or now coming to publishing agents, I always come up with best practices, yes. But now, when I come to the agent part, I want to understand like, irrespective of what kind of an agent you publish, there might be that set of common errors a user always does, right? It could be that, okay, the moment you get to know, okay, this, okay, yeah, this is a very common thing, but everybody comes to this point. So, can you, in your experience, would you be able to recall or highlight those like one or two very common error so that we'll have these audience all getting recorded so that we will not have those errors going forward at least. Can you think of something like that?
Sure, sure. So let me cover some of the common errors which we normally see in the validation process. Most of the errors are around the way you have defined your agent, the description, the app name, the agent name, the logo, the manifest schema. So most of the errors are around that only. Like within the description, you should be making sure that you are following our brand guidelines as well. This is again one of the common failure scenario where instead of using Microsoft Teams or Microsoft Copilot or any other product, people will just mention Copilot or Teams. So this is one common failure scenario that we have seen, and there are similar scenarios like not including screenshot, not including captions on the screenshot. So it's good. Let me cover it bucket by bucket, so it'll be helpful for the users to understand. So user awareness, defining proper metadata. Our guidelines are very specific. You have to make sure you are not mimicking any app. Your agent is providing real value, or for that matter your app as well. If you want to publish your app screenshot, if you are using, they should be the real screenshot from your app or the agent. It should not be any screenshot that you animated sort of a screenshot, or the video that is coming in, it should be proper video of the app and agent. So these are some of the common failure scenarios for the user awareness bucket. For the user experience bucket, most of the things are around supporting compound utterances. So this is one common scenario where agent will come in, they probably will not be supporting compound utterances. People will not be aware about like why do I need to support compound utterances. We just discussed agents are great for deep retrieval of knowledge. This is where they are providing value. Just a single parameter may not be that valuable, but a combination of parameter like we discussed with that example is a real great value addition. In our store we want to actually ensure like we are publishing agent which are of great quality. So compound utterances, I have noticed like this is one of the common scenario where people may fail to include uh, 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 people may fail to include these compound utterances in the prompts that they have submitted to us. So when you go and submit your agent, you will have to define some test notes. If you are planning to do submit some of these compound utterances which are supporting at least three parameters to us, so that we can validate your agent on that particular prompt whether it is working or fine or not. Another common failure is related to how you have used the adaptive card design. There are certain guidelines in our documentation. If you'll go and read through it, uh, our documentation is quite comprehensive when it comes to these guidelines. So another thing is the adaptive card design, the way you should be using button, the way you should be providing information to the users in the adaptive card. There are some brand guidelines that you should be following it, and they'll be great for you to actually go and uh, read through it and then publish your agent. For the user engagement, but like we have similar guidelines, like uh, the starter prompts that are coming in, just make sure you have put at least three starter prompts. There should be at least three. That's the guideline. Technical requirement and security I have already covered. All of these are must fixes, so if you are not following any of them, then we'll be raising a issue to you for this. The reason being, technical and security guidelines are must. They are must from the enterprise point of view. This is how we gain trust with the enterprises. So that's why they are important. I hope, Kamal, I answered your question.
And definitely, Raja. In depth, in fact, actually, I think it is very important to understand this five block, so that they can keep this like a checklist before publishing it. So that okay, is my description done? Screenshot done. So I think definitely you will share the slide at the end of the day, maybe to the audience, or you want to put it on the LinkedIn post. So I think we will leave your LinkedIn post as well, so that the attendees can get back to you if they have more questions related to building high quality agents here.
Sure.
One quick question on the security aspect. Every time security plays a very important role. So I want to understand, like as a developer, how do you ensure your agents meet the technical and security requirement? Few inputs around the security part would be very beneficial for publishing an
Sure.
agent.
So when it comes to security, there are two things to it. One is like you is about the data aspect, like the way you are handling the data, whether you are the right partner or not. The second is about the safety aspect of the enterprises. I've already discussed the like the secure data handling part, which is like you should be verifying your domain properly, and then the way these agent works, especially declarative agent, a lot of hard work of maintaining security is done by Microsoft itself. So Microsoft makes sure that any sort of sensitive information is not going to any third party system without user permission. Microsoft ensures that your sensitivity level that are there within the document, the ACL list, access control list, it is honoring that list. So a lot of hard work of data handling is already being taken care by Microsoft for the declarative agent. In security, domain ownership is must, and the way you can communicate all of the data handling practice, you can use publisher attestation. Coming to the enterprise safety part, your agent should also ensure that is it is not responding in a harmful way to any of the prompt. So this is where we also check, we call it responsible AI principle. We will be checking and scrutinizing your agent for harmful content, whether it is responding with any sort of violent post, whether it is responding with any sort of wrong content. You can actually check some of these harmful thing written here. Let me just quickly see. Okay, it's not here. I'll be sharing this either in the post on LinkedIn. But basically, harmful means like your agent should not be responding in a way which may incite violence, may not be may disrespecting certain audience, certain religion group, certain people. So agent should not be responding in that way. And third is that your agent should be having a enterprise level response and uh, enterprise level functionality. So you should be building your agent for the enterprises solving their use cases.
Totally agree, Raja. Definitely. I think whether it's an app, a website, or an agent, I think it should abide by the laws and few of the security measures it has to take care, or else definitely there would be a failure to upload or publish it on the store.
Yes.
Yeah. So totally agree. So we will leave these link in the description or in the comment section or on the YouTube, and we will share the deck as well. And yeah, thank you so much, Raja. That was a wonderful session. Definitely looks like we might have come up with another part two where you can show us a live demo as to how to publish a sample agent so that people really know the process in and out of it. So if you're interested to do that, just leave a comment and let us know what kind of an app, or if you already have an app, or any errors that you get when you're publishing the app. So we would be glad to have Raja or his and his team members join the another season or another session on the Copilot Chronicle, showing us a very live demo of it. So thank you, Raja, for joining in again, and thank you so much for the great host path. It was great having you folks again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kamal and Path, for hosting me. Thank you, everyone, for your kind time and patiently listening to me. If you are going to publish your agent, my team will be happy to have it validated and making sure your agent is really providing a great value. You are unlocking great value for the users. So my team will be helping you in that. Just want to highlight, like, my team also provide a email concierge service to help you fix each and every issue for the agent if you are planning to publish your uh, agent on our store.
Thank you so much, Raj.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.